grabbed a couple redwood boards, drove those nails and carved your name.
Well, can we hear another song then?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to do Lucky One. Young cowboy went riding to find a place you never grow old. Ran into the horizon, thinks he found that pot of gold. I rang that dinner bell, threw out a long lasso. I begged and pleaded for a couple years, he never came home. You're flying high, I'm crying blind. You're laughing 7 inches from the sun. And I'm here picking up the pieces. Maybe you're the lucky one. Come back as a hummingbird, whippoorwill and a holler down low. The wind through a willow tree, little voice in my soul. Flying high, I'm crying blind. You're laughing 7 inches from the sun. I'm here picking up the pieces. Maybe you're the lucky one. Maybe you're the lucky one. Young cowboy went riding to find a place you'll never grow old.
Live in Studio B, Lucky One. Olivia Wolf here with us in Studio B today. Clearly, you've got some folk and some country in your heart, but I also read that you grew up around the bluegrass scene too on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, my grandpa liked to play banjo, and he had a little band called the Wranglers. Yep, and they did an album with Jimmy Dale Gilmore, and so I just got to, be around really cool bluegrass. I got to see Doc Watson play Columbus Stockade Blues. I got to see Guy Clark and Verlon Thompson, which he's not bluegrass, but Texas country.
A lot of those guys, they kind of swim over into it here and there, don't they? Mm-hmm. Jimmy Dale Gilmore, famous for that.
I love Jimmy Dale. He is so sweet.
Yeah. Well, the bluegrass scene out there is cool, and I learned something about it years ago when I first discovered Nickel Creek, and those players. That's kind of where they came along on that in the West Coast sound, and there's bands now that aren't ashamed. They send me product for our bluegrass show, and they let you know, we're from California or whatever, and you grew up in Northern California, right?
I sure did. Yep.
But all up and down the West out there, there's more of a bluegrass scene maybe than some of us here in Appalachia think about.
For sure. Well, it's so funny. We were even talking about, country music's only in the South, and it's like, well, let me tell you, there's country folks everywhere.
That's right. That's right. And look back to the things that were recorded in the canyon there in California back in the late 60s and everything. A lot of that is they consider it rock, classic rock and stuff, but it was country as could be.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Folk and country, it was a big amalgamation of a lot of that stuff. To me, anyway. Is that the way you feel about it?
For sure. And then you get the Bakersfield folks, Merle Haggard and Buck Owens and Dwight Yoakam. And we actually got to play a show out in Bakersfield, and it was very magic. You can feel there's something in the air there.
There's plenty to do if you're a tourist there, and a lot of music and entertainment to take in.
Mm-hmm. A lot of dust too.
A lot of dust. Yeah. Well, it's certainly great to have you here, and I hope in the future that that we'll be able to talk about your live shows somewhere here in this region, since you're living over this way now instead of in California. You lived in Virginia too, didn't you?
I did. I went to high school out there, which is where I one of my good girlfriends, we were driving down these roads in her little gold Jeep Cherokee, listening to Dierks Bentley and Trisha Yearwood, X's and O's. It was just, why does that song live in my soul? I don't know, but it does.
What part of Virginia?
It was up in Loudoun County, Virginia.
Oh, up northern Virginia.
Yep, northern Virginia.
It's a different country up there.
Sure is. Could not be the South, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, I grew up around Richmond, and when I moved down here, the folks around here called me a Yankee, and I'm like, I lived in the former capital of the Confederacy, but I'm a Yankee.
Yeah.
It's because I talk funny.
I knew a fellow from South Alabama that said, if you're from Birmingham, you're a Yankee. So.
Oh my goodness! I had never heard that, but anyway, to each their own, I suppose.
Exactly.
In your mind and whatever's going on up there.